Hey guys, it's Lazy, and since it's Christmas, I want to discuss something that GGG definitely won't be able to fix over the weekends, and we're talking about Inigons and infinite mana loopings. I think it's kind of funny to say, but Jesus Christ, this is probably one of the tankiest build I play over my time in PoE 2, and my character is nowhere near min-max. I don't even think this is the best way to build a character, honestly, but I just want to put this video out. Think of this video as a template because there are tons of skills and tons of setups you can potentially run with this. You can also run this on trigger spell as well, even though I don't necessarily think it's a good idea because I tried, I didn't like it. But anyway, in this video, I'm gonna talk about how to scale with Inigons and how to mana loops. I want to quickly show you what the maps look like for this build, and when you enter the map, you can see that we don't have full mana. This is because of Indigon. Indigon only allow you to recover mana basically from mana regions, so we have to ramp up our mana, and you can see it takes about 4 to 5 seconds before you get to actually fight mobs. And at this point, you are basically immune unless it is a one-shot. We have 6k mana and 1.5k HP, and yeah, basically that's our HP pool. Traditionally, on a mine over mana build, and especially mine over mana build, you do not want to use Indigon because your mana is your defense. If you spend all of your mana, basically all your defense is gone. But in this build, we actually recover to 4 on every server tick rate, so this allows us to safely run mine over matter, and we also, bypass the downside of mine over matter, and we also click Eldritch Battery as well, which is why we have so much mana, and the double mana cost also we bypass that as well. It's actually help us scale up our mana. As you can see here, our mana in maps recovery is over 10,000. And I'm using Elemental Weakness Curse as my clear skill, and this is for a good reason. We have a new soul core in the game called Cupola Thesis, and this one gives each runic inscriptions from your curse skills cause you to regenerate mana per second equal to 10% of that skill mana cost. The runic inscription is the circle you see on the ground, and with Spell Cascade you are able to cast out 3 circles per cast. And imagine that you get 30% of your mana back. It's actually snapshot to the next stage of the mana cost of whenever you cast, right, with the Indigon mana cost. So as long as you are able to maintain, more than 3 circles. So 3 circle is 30%, 6 circle, which means 2 casts, is 60%. And with Darkness and Throne, which double the effects of your soul core, you bring that number up to 20%, and times with 6 circles, that's 120% of your mana cost back. And, with better Darkness and Throne roll and better gears, you are able to get a bit more. But yeah, the breakpoint is roughly above 100%, and the more, the merrier. And for single target damage, you can see here we are using Spell Totems, which I'm using a second weapon set, which I'll talk about in a bit, but we are using Burden of Shadow, which snapshots with Indigon, and we provide some insane damage. Remember that boss do have that damage reductions in the beginning, like the first 4 seconds, so she basically mulched through that. And you can see that for mapping, generic mapping, we don't even need to drop the totems. Some of the Abyss monster is quite rippy, and I'll try to tank these mobs for you to see how tanky this build is. So unless it's a one-shot, you can pretty much tank almost everything. I'll talk about the build that I'm running a bit later. I'm running on a Chronomancer, so whenever I'm in trouble, I can actually use Temporal Roof to get out of trouble. And because our totems actually cost life to cast, you can also use Temporal Roof to just kind of refresh your life. It gives us tons of quality of life in the setups, but again, it might not be the best ascendancies. Anyway, let's talk about the mechanic of the setups, and it's based on Cupola Thesis and Indigon, which help us stack spell damage percentage based on how much we spend. And because Cupola Thesis is mana regeneration, so it works together with Indigon. Now there are 2 ways to build these characters, and it's based on the delay of the curse. The more delay you have, the better mana regen you're going to have. and the delay of the skills. And let me show you real quick. I spec'd into Whisper of Doom. I actually don't use this in maps, but I just want to show you how absurd this number can stack up. On the support skill gems, we have Ritualistic Curse. This one will give you 30% more delay from the this curse when it pops, right? Whenever it pops, it's going to give you mana back based on this. So you want to stack up as many as you can. And you can see as long as I'm stacking these curses on the ground, I keep increase my spell, and therefore my mana regen per second keep going up. In order to stack even more, I'll take off Doldre Undoing, which is how I am doing the damage. And by doing just this setups right here, we have Efficiency, which lower the cost. We have this one, which increase the mana cost efficiency. And we have Spell Cascade, which put more circle on the ground, Ritualistic Curse, which delay the skill eruptions, and Rapid Casting, which increase the cast speed, so we put more curse on the ground before they expire. You going to see how absurd this number actually going to get, because yeah, the Dore setups I'm running doesn't get to this number. Yeah, so now we are at, I easily get to 30,000 mana per second. And we can sustain that as well. And if we are sustaining that, we're getting even more damage on our spell totems. I'll show you the snapshot a bit after. But yeah, the number is about, it gets to 8,500,000 right there. And it's basically is going to one-shot bosses in the map and even pinnacle bossings without issues. So yeah, Totem is just a bit clunky to use, and it's required you to have a setups. But you can use pretty much any other skill as well, and even if you want to use totems, then you can just run the setups. But for me, for mapping in general, I'm still going to use Doldre Undoing, because casting curse and doing damage is a lot better than actually putting down totems. Because I do think spell totems might not be the best way to do it. I just can't figure it out yet. But I'm also trying Atziri's Splendor, and this one essentially give you increased maximum mana, and you can like increase your mana pool to, a pretty good and decent amount of number. So you can see I have like 700 extra mana from that. But obviously that come with a cost that we can use spell totems. But if we are able to figure out if Impending Doom works and we can just use Elemental Weakness to clear, then we might as well do that. Because I do think spell totem add a bit of extra clunkiness into the build. Which, if you can eliminate this, that's it's gonna be good. In terms of what I'm doing with the Maximal Mana, right? So Maximal Mana give us two things. It gives us more mana pool so we can cast more spell. And cast more spell means that we can cast more, get more mana recovery per second. But also we can scale off the Archmage as well. Obviously, it is a huge downside that it costs 6.2% of your maximal mana, but it's not going to be a problem when you have this much mana recovery, so you get Archmage for free. I'm also running Arctic Armor, and this one also scale up with the spell damage as well. So whenever the rare monster attack you, or like melee attack, right, it's gonna reflect the damage and do tons of damage. And then there's Mana Remnant, which I don't think works. It's not working with because of Indigon, but I'm using the Rejuvenations Lineage gem, so it gives a little bit of cooldown recovery, but other than that, I don't really know what to run. We are taking Mind Over Matter. There's a downside to this, but we are going to offset that with Arcane Blossoms and also small notable down here that always work when you're running Lavianga. So it's 25%, and then we stack a tons of mana regeneration rates and mana cost efficiency to offset the spell that we cast. And we also stacking cast speed a little bit. Don't go too ham on the cast speed, but yeah, try to find a balance. Trying to find a balance is actually one of the harder things that you need to figure out in this build, so you can cast a ton of spell. You're taking EB, so we convert all of our ES into mana, which means that if I'm running a Discipline Scepters, which give flat amount of ES, it's going to convert that into mana as well, so you get more mana, and you get increased maximum mana from Dream Fragment. Obviously, the Chill and Frozen is quite nice because we don't actually have a big threshold because we convert all of our ES, and we have a smaller life pool. So yeah, mana is just not gonna give us any threshold. And then we're just basically stacking mana, maximum mana, tons of mana regeneration rates, mana gear, basically. And one final thing about mana is that we have Sacrifice and Mine, and this one also gives less mana regeneration rate as well, so it's a hefty downside, which is also why we need to stack a tons of mana regeneration on this build. But you want to get an Undying Hate with Tribute to Kurgle, so I gotta say, yeah, Kurgle, any of them works. And I have no idea how to find these notes. I just randomly get lucky, I think. But you want to get, mana recovery rate if it works, right? If you have good notes, make sure you use it. But other than that, mana cost efficiency here is nice as well. But otherwise, just put it in the keystones. And if you don't get any notables, that is good. You just move on. Click on other notes that give crit damage, crit chance. There's a bunch of good notes down here as well. Which, yeah. I might change that a bit, but it shouldn't matter too much. This one gives you mana overflow, and overflow basically means that it's your maximum mana times 1.5. And so we ended up with 6k mana instead of 4k mana, so yeah, it's really good. On the totem setups for single target damage, I'm actually using a few tech here. Actually, Reflect Conduit is one of them, and it has been used by a lot of totem user. Basically, you gain power charge every seconds. If you haven't lost power charge recently, this is one of the new Val cultivations modifiers that you need to get. And you convert the power charge with resonance, which means that you gain endurance charge instead of power charge. This means that we always have max endurance charge, and because we never reach maximum power charge, we never actually lose it. So we can summon our totems, we get back all of the endurance charge, and that's it. We can keep summoning totems, and yep, so that's how we summon our totems. Now, on how we snapshot the damage, there's actually two parts to it. So we have two weapon sets. Our spell totem is on weapon set 2, which we are using the Burden of Shadows, and I don't think this interaction this interaction has always been in the game since they added Indigons, and I think I saw one of the posts talking about it in 0.2, as early as 0.2. I can't remember where I see it. But this one gives you skill gains 1% of damage as chaos per tweet life cost, and it's also convert life cost into mana cost. Now the thing is, when we cast our totems, it's gonna snapshot for the whole 16 seconds durations. And that means even when you swap to the other's weapon set 1 and you're casting your spell, it also, snapshot the chaos damage as extra. Let me take off Embedder here, you can see. So you can see we have chaos damage here as well, and it's from the mana that we actually spent. So it actually worked. So yeah, use Burden of Shadow, you snapshot that, and it's gonna give us like so much damage as extra chaos damage. And because this is in a different bucket, it works really well with Indigon, because yeah, any sort of increased spell damage or like increased generic damage should not work that well with Indigons. And for the support gems, we are using Rising Tempest because Elemental Weakness have Lightning, Cold, and Fire attack. And then Embitters to convert all of the extra damage to cold damage, so we convert everything to cold damage. All the chaos is converted into cold, and with benefits from Elemental Weakness. And then we have Zenith and Urgent Totems, well, QOL, because without Urgent Totems, you are going to have a tough time summoning the totems. Well, actually, one more thing, that the commits, or like the spell in our totems, actually also benefits from Archmage as well. And yeah, so we convert that extra lightning damage also into cold damage. And then, yeah, spell totems actually only cost like the initial cost, but all of the spell actually benefits from Archmage. And that's pretty much all I have on the tech. I do think that there's a few caveats with this build. You do need to balance out the mana cost efficiency and cast rate of the build. There's a lot to think about when you're trying to balance it out, and when you have a decent amount of cast rate, you know, every 4 seconds you can continuously casting without going over the mana cost. This is probably when I can probably transition into Impending Dooms with Dodre Undoing and drop the totem setups, which is going to ultimately be my goal with this build. All the details of my characters will be on the mobile links. It's not going to be like a full written guide, but I'll talk a bit on the tech that I keep discover, and any of the updates I make to the characters will be also updated on there as well. There will be a POB attached for your reference as well on there. But yeah, other than that, Merry Christmas guys, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you in the next one.